Hi guys, we're joined here today with a lady that works works locally, Chantal.
Hello.
Chantal also works with us, but Chantal, company Orange Rose Design by Chantal Palmer.
Yep, that's me.
So who is Chantal Palmer? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, who is Chantal Palmer? I'm here, I'm a person.
Yeah.
Photography, more, and even more, so UX, UI, event design, display. And I really like to understand how not only the brand works, but how your user or your clientele interact with yourself. Really thinking of the end life of design, I think. I mean,
Okay.
Am I over elaborating on what I do?
Well, we'll break it down. We'll break it down as we go along. So give us an idea. What's a background? What's your background?
So my background, gosh, where do I start? With over 15 years experience. Yes, I don't look that
15
old.
years, okay.
I like to think I don't look that old.
Yeah.
And that is within industry. So that's freelance, in-house and agency. Currently, right now, I've started my own business. Nearly got 2 years in industry right now on myself, solopreneur, entrepreneur, yeah. And I work with a wide range of clients. For example, yourself, an estate agent, vintage car company that does classic restorations, NHS, the GP practice, nursery, gosh, I could reel them off, like the Mayor, Hertfordshire Council and everything. So it is really fun, like it's a wide scope of clients that I work with and cover.
Have you always lived locally or what?
No, I haven't. I'm originally a Northwest girl, so North Wheezy, as you say, as a North Londoner. I grew up in North London, Stanmore, actually, funny enough.
Okay.
And then we moved for schools and everything to Hertfordshire, went to Hempstead, did my early education there, and then I've slowly come back towards London Way, college in Watford, and then university at UAL, University of the Arts, LCC, London College of Communications. And from graduating, I went straight into business. You know, it was
okay. And what did you graduate in?
I graduated in, God, here's a tongue twister and a big mouthful.
Okay.
It was a BA Honours in graphic media design, designed for advertising, and I specialised in design for advertising.
You've mentioned the wide scope of things you've done, whether it's videography, photography, you mentioned websites, you mentioned branding. Where's a real passion? Or is it something you felt you've needed to do as you've gone on with your career?
So it's really interesting that you ask that, because whenever anyone asks this question, it always starts from a different direction. So my passion actually started as I really loved point of sale. So years ago, we used to do a family trip every Christmas. We used to go to London, go see all the Oxford Street lights and window displays. And my mum's art background, and I'm true graphic designer, arty, all the colours, as you can see.
Yeah.
We were walking down at Oxford Circus, and we were looking at Harrods window display, John Lewis window display. And I was like, this is amazing. I just want to do that. I actually went to college and studied point of sale to specialise in window display and visual merchandising. And having studied that and working with some of the most biggest leaders in the advertising industry, I realised point of sale wasn't where I wanted to be. One, not just dismissing that industry, but I was enjoying the visual display, and I actually went to Marks and Spencer's and worked in visual merchandising for a while as an internship, and I loved it. But then I realised, having looked at the sheets, you are given direction by somebody else, and I was like, well, what if this works? What if that works? And I realised I'm not somebody that wants to be given the artwork to do and I deliver it. I want to actually be involved from the ground up, which is why I work a specific way with my clients. I like to really understand the business and work through their business, understand their brand and work from the ground up. And that's what led me from visual merchandising into graphic design. And I went to university and studied the design realm, again, specialising in advertising, because I love the idea of how can you capture your audience in 60 seconds or less, like, you know, an ad before someone clicks off. Who watches ads now? Not many people. They've all got subscriptions to avoid ads. So if you can grab someone's attention in less than a second, it's amazing, you know. So yeah.
Which aspect do you prefer?
It is so hard to pick. specific niche that I like doing. And I have thought about this for my own business. Let me just niche down and just do videography or photography or just branding and graphics. I can't say there's one that I prefer more than the other. I like every single one for its own individual speciality.
Okay.
Based on the client, I think the client makes like videography more interesting. Like you guys do you're an estate agent. What are the challenges that you find, and how do I do that through videography? Again, with other brands that I do, like when I worked at the Mayor, I did from the ground up a whole suite of branding graphics, wall art graphics, presentation slides for her show day. And I haven't done a set like that before. So I guess the full picture of everything from video, branding and graphics, designing, what the actual look and feel should look for that user, I have to say it's everything. If that answers it. It's really hard to say, oh, I just like this. I can't.
So you've worked for these firms as an employee, I'm assuming. You've mentioned a few brands like Marks and Spencer's you mentioned, and there was a couple of other companies you worked for. And then when was I want to do something for myself?
When was it I want to do something in my house?
Is it something you always dreamt about doing?
I have always dreamt about working for myself when I hit my late 40s. But running my own design shop with people that I've found across my paths and worked with, because I know a lot of good designers, a lot of good artists that I work with, and we've collaborated when I worked in-house, and I'm like, yeah, I could keep in contact with you for this, and that's the dream. It came earlier, COVID hit, lockdown hit, financial sector went down, and my whole lifestyle changed. And I was like, do you know what? Instead of the standard commute into London every day, I think that's a time of the past. It's now I get to work my own hours and work with the client through their hours. And if I want to do an all-nighter, I can. It doesn't mean I'm stuck in the office in London thinking about a commute home.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I can go all the way up to Norfolk and see a client and then take a beach trip afterwards.
Yeah.
I can go down the road to you guys and see you guys, and it's great. It kind of was like put upon me a bit sooner to start up my own business, but I don't regret it, because if I hadn't, I probably would be sitting here in an office like, eventually, Chantal, it will happen.
Yeah. What were the challenges in setting up your own business?
It's not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. Doesn't mean working in-house is easy. It's definitely not. They have their own political challenges, working in-house and other stuff going on. But essentially, I have many hats. And they always say that whenever you go to any networking event or training course, you're always like, you've got to wear all the hats. Not many hats fit on this.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think the biggest challenge was fear. Not knowing, at the beginning, not knowing when your next paycheck's going to come. Constantly putting yourself out there. And it was actually something that my brother said to me. He said, it's amazing to see you constantly go out to networking events. Not many people would do that. I will walk up to a networking event anywhere and I will literally have a conversation with somebody. And it's literally just opening that door. I don't do cold call emails. I don't believe they work. They do for some people. I've had a lot of feedback from other people. They say, don't do cold call. I'm about my personality. I like to bond with my client. I like to don't sell myself. So you put me here, I'm like, I don't want to sell myself.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want to find out about the client. And it's really challenging, because you've got to remember you are constantly putting yourself on the line. And just because a client says no, doesn't mean you can't keep that rapport, catch up for a coffee, see how they're doing. Doing my own finances, learning that at the beginning. Oh, that's not fun. That's not fun. My maths teacher would be like,
make sure you've put the tax money aside.
Yeah, got the tax money aside, working out my expenses. It just never ends. You don't sleep at the beginning, because you're constantly like, oh, well, I need to get back to this client. And I don't with my clients, I'm always want to be available. I always want to be there. I provide a different service to other companies that when they tend to say, oh, 9 till 5, that's it. Some of my clients don't work 9 till 5. Some of my clients are family-run businesses, are startups, and I need to work around their families. I need to work around their meetings, and I try to fit that in as well as my own personal life, which I do try to have. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot because I'm passionate about design. I've design team led, so I know a lot about the structure and the accounts behind building the campaigns and what costs look like, and for a budget perspective on the design side. But I'm now learning new stuff like the business development side. How can I position myself as an actual established company rather than I'm just a graphic designer. Which, yeah, I am. I am a graphic designer, but I'm more. I'm a lot more than just a graphic designer.
And you've got all the social media that helps with all of that, right? And
Yes,
you can put yourself out there and do what you need to do. And so you decided you're going to go alone, and you wanted the flexibility, no doubt, and you wanted to push yourself.
Yeah.
Also a mum?
Yes, I am. I don't talk about that, but yeah, no, I am a mum. Yes, I am. I should say that. A proud mum, by the way. My daughter's beautiful.
Does that become difficult when you're trying to balance being a mum and running a business, and when you're trying to juggle?
You do get the mum guilt. You do. Every mum gets it. Any mum watching this right now will be like, yeah, don't worry, I hear you, girl. Just because you have to say to yourself, look, your daughter needs you. I have a daughter. Your daughter needs you. She's my priority. And sometimes I have to say to myself, no, my business is my priority and I need to put this first. And it is a big part why I'm doing what I do now, being a mum and juggling business and lifestyle at home. I mean, I also have a dog, just as an FYI. Yeah. He's my first baby.
First, right, okay.
But yeah, it is juggling. It's constantly juggling because sometimes you want to do a late night email and then you've got family or weekends, and I still want to do work on the weekends and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't switch off. I've always switched on, whether it's being a mum, whether it's being a full-time employee to myself. Yeah, it doesn't stop. Yeah.
Okay. And how does it work? Are there times in a week, a day where you have to be like, right, work's done now, I need to prioritise something else now?
I'd like to say yes. I do speak to a lot of other self-employed individuals that have been going for 40 plus years, and they say the thing is you never switch off. And I mean, I've had my client contact me while he's on holiday, and I've said, why are you contacting me? And he's like, because I've got to get back to you about work. And I'm like, go and enjoy your holiday. And he'll be on the beach doing emails to me, on a call with me, and I'm like, oh my God, I was like, just enjoy your holiday, it's fine. But back to me, yes, I do try to say I dedicate time to my child. I mean, of course I do. She's growing very well, very intelligent, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, there will be days that I'm just like, no, family first. And I think that is very important, whether you run your own business, you work in an office, family is very important. And I feel in the last couple of years, the whole industry has changed that. For better, for worse, it has changed. People's reality of how they work and how they balance work life and how they balance family life, it is family first, let's be real. I do put my clients first, but I have to remember, like, if I have a sick child, she needs to be looked after. Yeah.
You've got quite an impressive portfolio behind you of companies that you've done work with and worked for over the years.
Yes. My first...
And name some of those big ones.
Yeah, well, I'll name drop. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll be happy if I'm name dropping, hopefully. Yeah. My first big ticket job in-house in London was Broadway Mallion. So that was an architecture practice. I went in as a graphic designer, having self-taught myself how to code and read and write HTML. I believe that helped me with getting the position because they were doing a website rebrand and redesign, and there was a lot of coding involved. I went in there purely to do the whole rebranding and content layout, collateral, and any bid support. Having seen my skill set that I don't just do that, I can actually code, I can read HTML, CSS, not Java, and I will put that on record because that is an art.
Okay.
I mean, it's all an art, isn't it? But ultimately, they were like, oh, okay, well, we're going to get you on this. And my position then grew to doing the web design. I'm also very good with a camera. I've also done filming and videography, which I studied at college and university. Did my dissertation, actually, in the filming industry. Alice in Wonderland. And they realised, hang on a second, this girl can also do filming, photography. So my whole scope as a graphic designer grew, and I challenged myself, and I'm always challenging myself in a job. And then from that position, and the only reason why I left that company, and I mean, they all know I got on very well with the director. I mean, Stuart Ruff, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Sibel managed me as well, and Chris White, you know, they were an amazing team. I mean, there were many more amazing people. I transitioned to Gun Ho Design, which was a design agency working with some of the brands that you're seeing, like Benefit, Ramel, Green and Black, CBRE. So that at Tottenham Hotspurs, not Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, doing all bid support and doing all their tenders for the catering companies that go in there and the other companies that tender with them. And then from there, that was learning, that was more of a, funny enough, when I went to Gun Ho Design, it was learning a lot about bringing in my point of sale skills, where it was like POB, paper over box, and how that finishing looks, which reminded me of when I was in college. So I absolutely loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is bringing art back that I haven't done in a very long time. So I was so excited, again, challenging myself. I mean, that was a very far commute. I was in Elephant and Castle, beyond Elephant and Castle, like going to Peckham. And it was, that was when I lived not round here, near Cheshunt. So that was a long commute. So it was 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours back, and it killed me after a couple of years. Yeah. And I said, okay, I'm losing my social life on commute. I need to rethink this. And then I went to Dark Trace, which was a startup company, and I worked from them for the ground up. And I went in primarily for my graphic design skill set and videography, to uplift their video channels, because their video wasn't quite there. And I did everything from internal, external. I could make people fly if they wanted. I was great with a green screen. Again, something that I studied in university, in the filming sector.
Make people fly?
Yeah. Do you want to fly? We got black screen. We just need to change your outfit so we don't blend in. We'll get you flying on top of a house one day. Don't you worry.
Can't wait.
But yeah, I did all of, and
watch this space, listeners. I'll be flying above a house.
he definitely will, guys. Yeah. Maybe yours. But yeah, I did everything from the filming and videography, internal training videos. How can we make training more exciting for the internal staff? It's a cyber AI company. It's a lot of content to understand and digest, and how can I increase that experience and help not only their partners that partner with them, like McLaren and Microsoft at the time when I was there, but their other employees, and help them sell. And it was really just finding a new way to do design and making it a lot more creative. We are, as a society, very visual. Not many, I'm not saying reading's dead, it's not. People do read. My husband is an avid reader. He'll have my head if I say that. And I do also like to read, but I also realise that society like videos, and capturing someone's attention in a short reel is a lot more impactful than giving them an essay to read. Yeah. We've got to think about people's time. So I went in there with a video frontier. How can I do this? How can I help internal training? Nobody wants to do training. How can I make that more fun? You
see that like these days, like, you know, if I look at sort of my daughter, she could spend or son, they could be on TikTok for like 3 hours, no doubt, just scroll. Yeah, I know. And scary. You know, and reading a book won't have
it does have an impact, but different.
As much of an impact to them, or you know, won't appeal to them. Yeah. Possibly as much. Yeah, it is true. It's sad though, because I mean, I remember the days where before you go to bed, your parents would read a book to you. You know, a library would be the fun holiday trip, and it still is. We do a library trip. Not for me. So how long now have you been working for yourself? How long have we been?
So nearly 2 years now.
Nearly 2 years, okay.
Nearly 2 years now.
And enjoying it?
I am. I think it's great. It has its challenges. It definitely has its challenges. No, I'm joking. Yeah? I'm joking, not married. No doubt, you're great. You are great to work with.
So what is their challenges? I mean, look, so we don't paint this like fantastic picture, and there's many perks. There's more perks than there's more benefits, and you know, good things and bad things, no doubt. Yeah. What sort of challenges should any budding entrepreneur be aware? What would be like a couple of things that you'd be like, this is, you know,
I think it's really important when you go in when you're about to take the step of going self-employed, set boundaries, expectations. You can't turn around saying, within the first week, I want to have this revenue. I want to have 25 clients. Let's be realistic, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. No, it's a very important saying. Rome wasn't built in a day. And you just have to be really realistic. I mean, for every client, and I think where I fail the most in myself, and I've had some great coaching actually from some great people, is that I don't celebrate the wins. So I think you were probably the first win that I celebrated at Christmas when I got the retainer with yourself.
Okay.
And I believe Christoper Stokes was my first retainer. I have had a few retainers, but ad hocly.
Yeah.
And you were my first retainer that keeps, we've got a contract and it keeps going. And I celebrated that because I was like, that's something to be really proud of,
Absolutely.
It was a cold meeting at a networking event. Really liked what you guys do. You're really passionate about your company.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate, and we just bonded, I hope.
Yeah.
And it's really important going in it as either an individual or if you've got a team of people to just remember, celebrate your wins. Whether it's like you registered yourself as an established company, celebrate.
But there is, but there is an element that you've got to not over celebrate it, right?
Yes, like
some
you
people
can't go
have a
down
small
to the pub
win.
every
Some people
weekend.
Some people have a small win and they feel they've cracked it, but our contract alone isn't gonna.
No, I've got to deliver. If I don't deliver, I can't celebrate my win.
It won't alone sustain your lifestyle or sustain your business with it. So what I'm getting at is, yes, I think you do need to have those small wins and those celebrations, but what else is next? What else? I think you've always got to also be looking at what that pipeline might look like going forward.
You've got to look at the pipeline, what it looks like going forward. Training. I think one thing that I didn't realise until end of last year is that when you work in-house, a lot of offices have a package that you will have like certain benefits, you get training, and then when you go self-employed, you're like, okay, so I'm just basing everything on my last bit of training. Now, when I left my last company, Whiteree, I learned a lot about UX and UI. And I've realised that I was doing that prior to them in terms of my event campaigns with Dartrace and other projects that I work on. And I was like, well, I want to learn more about that. That's where the industry is going to. I want to learn a lot about users and how they work. And it's speaking to your local council. Hertfordshire are great, Broxbourne and Hertfordshire are absolutely fantastic. They offer training. And for any startup company or any small business or any business in itself, always remember training is very important. Now, I don't shout about that enough. I'm constantly doing training, whether it's upskilling my own skill set or learning new skill sets like user journeys. And I know a lot about user journeys, but it's more in terms of individual user journeys because I deal with lots of different companies from totally different sectors. Okay. So it's understanding how those users are and how they behave on a website or with a video on social media or an event that I'm about to host for a client and run from the ground up. So I would say it's really important to train, find any training there, even LinkedIn offer training if you just want to do that. Networking events are really important.
So far, celebrate your wins.
Celebrate your wins. I definitely think celebrate your wins.
Training.
And any failures.
Keep learning.
Yeah.
Networking. You mentioned go speak to people, go meet people.
Yeah. And any failures.
Tell people what you do, right?
Yeah. I mean, companies do have failures. There's nothing wrong with it. Even big ticket businesses have failures. And I don't think it's something that you should fly away from. I mean, I like to think I haven't had any. I stay on top of my clients. I do lots of design reviews. I stay in lots of communication with clients, and I think that's very important. Communication is key. Get on a telephone. Just pick up the phone. Like text, email, phone, whatever the client prefers, pick it up, do it. It's very important. Clients don't want to be in the dark. People don't want to be in the dark. If I was to order something tomorrow, you want to know when it's going to arrive, and if it's delayed, you want to know who you can contact, and that's a totally different service. So communication is also key. That's a big thing. transparency, and I have a big thing about transparency. So I work with lots of different clients, and calendars do clash. And I'm not only managing like yourself, but I'm managing my calendar with 7 or 8 other clients.
Yeah.
And then I'm also fitting training in that. And like I said, sleep's for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. But yeah, it's just finding out how we can manage, how I can manage all of that. I am one person, and just understanding where you can work with a client and over-deliver. What's the saying? Always over-deliver, basically. Don't over-promise, under-deliver.
Yeah.
That is very important. So that's why I say, like, it's important if there are failures or anything, not failures, but like contracts that end and they don't want to come back to you. And I mean, like, I haven't had anything like that. All of, like, positively, touch wood.
Yeah.
Where's the wood at? Head. You know, just remember that if something doesn't go right or well, and this is exactly how I would work if I was in-house. And the way I work in my own business is exactly how I work when I was in-house and when I managed a team. It's always working with every single division, every single department. I never just worked directly with marketing. I work with every CFO, CMOs, sales, directors, you name it, I worked with them, training coordinators. And it's fully understanding and communicating with all of the avenues that you need to talk to. So there's wonderful transparency, communication, and if something does go wrong, identify it, talk to the client, or figure out where it's gone wrong, because it might not actually be with the client.
Yeah.
It might just be job's finished, but it went wrong for you because it took longer than you thought it would. That's never really nice, because then if you're doing it as an hourly rate, you're ending up minus numbers because you're taking too long to do it. I'm very precise.
From every experience, there's a learning, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned a failure. It might not have been a failure, just didn't go to plan, maybe.
Agreed.
So, you know, failures, that's quite
true.
a strong word. So it just maybe didn't go to plan. But then you do something and naturally you get quicker at it. You know, I employ staff and they start doing something and they're saying, well, that takes ages. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, it's because you're learning how to do it. Mm-hmm. Once you've learned how to do it, it won't take ages. It'll be like maybe a 5-minute job instead of a 15-minute job. Maybe it'll be an hour job, not a 3-hour job. So it's just sort of your time management, you're saying, is quite important there.
Very important. I'm very precise with my time management as well.
And sometimes you've got to maybe sometimes you need to just work that a little bit quicker, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, like, you know, maybe you've seen it where people start a job, they go make a cup of coffee, they go and have a little chat
15-minute coffee break.
By the coffee machine, they go and talk to him, they go and talk to her, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, I've been working on that for an hour.
Yeah. And
you're like, well, actually, concentrate effort. You've probably been working it for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So there is an element of that. All right, well, look, Chantal, the other thing, who typically needs to reach out to you? This is your opportunity now. Who needs to reach out to you? Who you know?
Anyone. Everyone.
What should they need to reach out to you? Any videography?
Anyone that needs a type of design service. Like I said, I cover everything.
Okay.
And probably more that I definitely haven't mentioned on here. But my website is my name, so it's www.chantalpalmer, spelled the French way, .com. So have a look at me, what I do, what I cover. And if you have questions, like, hit the contact us button, get me on the phone. I'm more than happy to discuss. But it's really important that I believe brand and design and things looking beautiful, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder, is very important, right? So I had a client, a really amazing client, actually, a very, very talented artist. And she came to me after her third designer. I was her third designer. I was a bit wary. I was like, oh dear. And I started from the beginning with her, and that was just identifying her brand, and that's Jade Dawn Design. Identifying her brand and what she wanted, and was the brand her, or was the brand its own self? Is she the brand, essentially? Because it's really hard when you work with, like, as a startup or a small business. Are you the brand, or is that the brand and you're the person that works for the company? It's really interesting. So it was understanding that one client. And I'm using this as a use case because she said to me, which actually upset me a little bit, because I didn't realise companies work like this. A lot of agencies out there won't look at companies because their revenue is too low, and they don't hit certain targets, so they're not worth looking at for branding. Now, I think as a person who's very passionate about brand, that's really sad to hear. Okay. Any company out there, no matter what your revenue is, no matter whether you're a startup or it's just a vision or you just want a piece of lovely art on your wall, you should have the chance to speak to a creative-minded person and discuss what that could be like. What is that possibility? You know, it shouldn't be, oh, you need to spend millions, you need to spend thousands to get the job done. Yeah, okay, people need to get paid, people need to make a living, but ultimately, you would have missed an opportunity to say, you know, I designed that, I did that logo, and it looks amazing. And not only does it look amazing, I have a satisfied client. They're now going to talk about me. They're going to word of mouth. You know, it's always great. And you know, I can now say, like, you know, there's another piece of beauty in the world. There's another piece of graphics in the world, whether it's a logo, whether it's patterns, whether it's just an advertising piece, display point. You know, that I could say, oh yeah, that actually looks amazing. You know, that looks really good.
So videography.
Yep.
Branding,
photography,
website. Anyone looking for any of these services, reach out to Chantal, and she'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, I'll be happy to help.
Yeah.
And I hope I haven't bored you.
Yeah. And on a closing note, very last thing. Next 1 to 3 year plan, what does it look like?
Oh gosh.
Where would you like to be? Everyone's watching this and they're going to be making sure.
Holding me accountable.
Holding you to account.
There's always accountability that gets you. Obviously still going, you know, as a startup. I am still a startup, 2 years, nearly. I would love to be still going. If the business grows, which obviously that is the dream for everyone as a business owner, to have a team of people. Like I said, I know some great designers. I know some great developers that I always like. I'm like, oh yeah.
See if we can if we can use that black book basically that you've
the black book.
that you've been saving over the years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've connected with such great clients like yourself, Christoper Stokes, Redbox, New River Line, and it would be great to continue to connect with them, continue to work with them, because I'm not. Don't get me wrong, new clients come in, but I'm also about nurturing my existing clients and keeping that retention. And I think that's very important. A lot of people are like, oh, we're just in with it, in and out, in and out, in and out. And yeah, let's do the in and out, because you want to always win more clients. You want to always get a bigger portfolio. But I also want to keep my clients satisfied. You know, like, I wouldn't want to lose the retention with you. And that's not just because it didn't work out or whatever, but that's because it's actually fun. You guys provide me different challenges, you know, and I like that with the clientele that I have. So it's nurturing my clients and also bringing in new clients. So please don't be scared by my comment of I'm in nurturing. Yeah. But I am a nurturer. I'm a mum.
Well, reach out. If anyone wants to look at some of Chantal's work, by all means, have a look at some of our socials as well. Have a look. Contact Chantal if you need anything.
Thank you.